How did you read this announcement this morning from the U.S. Trade Representative?
Well, in our book, we detail, the 3-year battle between the U.S. and China over trade. Trade was the tip of the spear in the fight between these two countries. And now, amazingly, trade is one of the few strands that holds this relationship together. I think that's what that meeting shows. With the meeting is the message. It wasn't that they talked about so many important things and made decisions. It was the fact that there was a meeting, top U.S. officials, top Chinese officials, continuing to talk during this amazing slide in this relationship.
Is that indicative of how far the relationship has fallen, or maybe the recognition that both sides need some sort of trade truce?
I think it's a recognition of how far things have fallen, and to expect things to fall some more, to expect more initiatives out of the Trump administration that move the two countries in dissimilar paths. But I think the message also is there's a boundary to this, at least for the moment, and it's really questionable whether this will continue through the election. But at least for the moment, the Phase 1 deal is safe. Again, it doesn't mean that it's going to, make it through the election. The president has warned time and again that he might pull out. But right now, very senior people on both sides are saying, we're committed to the relationship. We're committed to the trade relationship, not necessarily the rest of it, but we're committed to the trade relationship, and we're going to move forward with it.
When you start thinking about the technology troubles between the two and the potential ban for TikTok and WeChat, what's been happening with Huawei, how big of an issue is that, and how quickly do you think things will escalate if those bans go through as expected?
I think it's a really big issue. I mean, the TikTok and WeChat, there are lots of outs on that one, right? I mean, TikTok looks like it's going to be bought by an American company. I mean, then you do have the precedent. Is this a precedent that we want, of a U.S. president basically forcing an American-based company to sell and also to ask for a cut of the proceeds? We'll see how that actually works out. With WeChat, they're still working on exactly how sweeping that ban will be. But when it comes to Huawei, that's a very, very significant action. There were two swings at Huawei before this, where the U.S. tried to limit the kinds of things that Huawei could buy. Both of them had enormous loopholes that U.S. and foreign companies could work to continue to supply Huawei. I think that's one reason China really hasn't reacted that strongly to Huawei. But this recent effort, this recent regulation, is enormously sweeping. I mean, it really could wind up strangling Huawei outside of China. I mean, Huawei will always exist because it's got an enormous domestic market, and the U.S. market now is pretty much closed off to it. But there is the entire rest of the world, and the U.S. has now put into effect something that will cripple Huawei in its sales outside of China. So that's I think, frankly, the most significant move the Trump administration has made against China.